Welcome to another episode of Sports and Discourse with your host, Derek Stevenson. And today, man, this is a real special episode for me. It's been a long time coming. I finally actually got somebody in the studio with me, man. I'm not just doing it in my living room, and I'm not doing it on Zoom. I actually got guys in here. I got my guys. I got Nephew Q to my left, and I got Isaiah Ike, the burner Barron to my right. And today we're just going to talk some NBA stuff, man. So first of all, thank you guys for being a part of this episode, man. I'm super excited, but I'm tired and I'm hot because I've been setting all of this shit up. And, man.
You putting in work today.
I put in some work, man.
Put in some work today, setting all this up. But it's a nice setup, though.
Hey, it's the light skin takeover.
The light skin takeover.
Part
man.
two.
Part two.
Yes, sir. But anyway, so let's get into some NBA stuff, man. So listen, I want to start off, and I know this is a couple of days old, but I want to talk about Rudy Gobert and Shaquille O'Neal, right? And what I've been thinking about was, you know how sometimes people will say Michael Jordan played against the Plumbers and different things like that.
Right.
And I started thinking about all the defenders that Shaq played against. Has anybody ever had better defensive competition than Shaquille O'Neal? Man, listen. Elijah Wan. Mourning.
Right.
David Robinson. Patrick Ewing. Mutombo. Ben Wallace. Dennis Rodman. Who am I missing? The Yo Boys, the Pacer Boys. Maybe not individually, but together.
The Davises? Yeah.
I mean,
I'm trying to think.
He's played again. Great
yeah,
talent.
I was gonna say.
I mean, you can also throw Tim Duncan in there.
Tim Duncan
in there as well.
Who else are we missing? I feel like
if somebody is missing, but I mean, you ran through the gauntlet. Just that alone should solidify, what Shaq has gone through and who's Rudy Gobert faced.
Well, how many centers is in the league today that's good?
2.
So he got
Joker and Embiid. And
he probably ain't even played against Embiid that many times because, he probably had stomach virus every time they played.
Toe issue or something.
So
he's played against, 2? And there's no guarantee they going to be, Joker might be a Hall of Fame because he won back-to-back MVPs, but there's no guarantee that both of them would be Hall of Famers. The people you just named, pretty much all of them are Hall of Famers.
Joker's a Hall of Famer.
If Tony Kukoc's Hall of Famer.
Nah, Joker's a Hall of Famer.
That's what I'm saying.
Not because Tony Kukoc. Nah, Joker is.
That's what I'm saying. If Tony is getting the Hall of Fame, you got to put Joker in the Hall of Fame. And he's got 2 MVPs.
Easily.
Yeah, so.
Is Joker going to go down as the greatest foreigner to play in the NBA?
Giannis.
Oh, yeah.
Giannis is going to go down as the greatest foreign-born player to ever play in the NBA.
Who is it right now?
Right now?
Elijah Wan?
Dirk.
Ooh,
I don't know. Elijah Wan's a good one too.
Yeah,
Dirk has to be right there.
I would say it's probably a tie.
It's kind of tricky because ain't Patrick Ewing Jamaican or Tim Duncan's Jamaican?
Elijah. I'm not. Ewing is Jamaican. Tim Duncan is from the Virgin Islands, which is still in the United States or whatever. But I would say Elijah Wan and Dirk is between those two. If I had to,
but.
Is Joker going to close the gap?
No.
Is Joker? Nah, but I think Giannis is going to close the gap. Yeah. I think if Giannis wins again this year and he gets MVP of the finals again this year,
it's a done deal.
I think he already leaps both of them.
Let me ask you this.
Well, I ain't going to say leaps both. I think he leaps Dirk, but see Elijah Wan's still right there,
because Elijah Wan, he got 2 Finals MVPs, he got Defensive Player of the Year, so he's right there as far as accolades with Giannis. So I would say if he wins his second title, it's like Elijah Wan, Giannis is like neck and neck.
The only thing that I would say that might give, in my opinion, Giannis the edge is because Elijah Wan only won
when Jordan retired. Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
So it's like if Jordan wouldn't have retired,
he probably would have 0.
He probably wouldn't have won a championship.
A lot of people think the Rockets might have had something for the Bulls, though.
But why didn't they have something for the Bulls before or after?
Because they didn't have something for the Jazz.
Well, before, I'll say this because you got to think about it. The Rockets just went to back-to-back finals. It's hard to go to 3 in a row, so I give them that. But after that, I mean, Olajuwon broke down. They tried. It was just But to go to 3 straight NBA Finals, I would have loved to have seen that matchup because I would have loved to have seen the Bulls go up against a dominant center in the finals.
No, keep it 100. You would have loved for Jordan to have taken the L in the finals.
Because I ain't gonna say I'm not gonna say he was necessarily took an L,
Nope.
but I think it would have probably been his toughest matchup in the finals because
I don't think so.
Because the Bulls don't have no answer at center.
That's just one person.
I feel like the
You got
Rockets
Kenny
did.
Smith, you got Otis
Man,
Thorpe,
listen.
you had Vernon Maxwell.
Listen.
They had a squad.
Listen.
Could Rodman
Robert
slow down
Horry.
Olajuwon?
Define slow down. No, I say hell no. Because if a young Shaq couldn't slow Olajuwon down, Rodman wouldn't.
Rodman wasn't even with the Bulls at that time.
Did I mention Rodman when
Yeah,
I
you
talked
did.
about?
You
Okay.
did. Yeah, you did. No, I don't think Rodman would have had nothing for him.
But the Rockets, who was going to guard Mike?
But that's the goes
Who
back.
was going to guard Scotty?
Oh, that's nothing. That's light work.
Yeah, right.
That's light
Yeah,
work.
right.
You put Robert Ory on Scotty. There it is,
Man,
right there.
Robert Ory would have got murdered.
Hell no. A young Robert Ory, 6'10", long okay. He would have gave Pippen fits.
Man, no.
I put it to you like
Who
this.
has he gave fits?
I put it to you like this. In the 96 finals, when they played the Seattle Supersonics, Deadlift Shrimp averaged 18 points a game against Scotty. So you mean to tell me that Robert Ory ain't gonna give him the business?
That left shrimp was a better scorer than Robert Ory.
And Robert Ory would have been a great scorer against Scottie Pippen.
No.
He would have hit career numbers.
No.
Jordan would have been
It
5
wouldn't,
more.
have, it wouldn't have been hard though, because his career he's only 11.
Who's that? Robert Ory?
Yeah.
I mean, Deadlift
Some
Shrimp.
people think that Robert Ory should be in the Hall of Fame.
His
No.
career is 11 what?
11 points a game.
Nah, I think it's less than that.
No, Robert Ory definitely should not be in the
I
Hall
think
of Fame.
nah. His career is less than that.
And see, we got to get away from that. I hate that whole, well, a person has X amount of rings, so they automatically should be in the Hall of Fame.
Man,
and it's
he's
like,
definitely not a Hall of Fame.
you got many role players who won rings, and like, what did you really contribute?
Robert Ory averaged 7 points a game for his career.
And he against Scottie Pippen, he would have averaged 21.
No, he would
Buckets.
He would have had 4.
He would have got buckets. So the argument you make about, what was they going to do with Olajuwon?
That's just like how you do in the league. Like even to this day, one person, he gonna get his. Just like in last night's game, Giannis went crazy.
Mm-hmm. Nobody else did nothing. So we would have let Jordan get his.
But you still got Scotty.
We ain't worried about Scotty.
You still got Scotty,
We ain't worried
man.
about Scotty. People don't even give Scottie Pippen credit now.
Man, Scotty was a killer.
See what I'm saying? Like, people don't even give Scottie Pippen
Scotty was a killer
on the defensive end.
on both ends. It's just Jordan was the focal point of the offense, so he got up more shots. But when Scotty had the ball, or there was times where Scotty had to take over the game, and Scotty did.
It wouldn't have been that. Rockets Jordan would have been 5-1 in the finals, 4-2.
No.
Well, let me ask you this though.
Wait a second before you say it, because I could say on that Rockets team, you take Olajuwon off, would anybody on that team even be considered to be a MVP of the league?
No.
But you took Jordan off of Chicago, and Scotty was right there in the runnings for MVP of the league.
Also, what you saying is Scotty made Jordan.
No, I'm not saying
That's
that.
that's what I
No,
just
I'm
heard.
not. I'm saying
I'm not gonna let that go down on my show. Man.
Jordan's the greatest, but what I'm saying is Scotty was also a great player. He's still to this day is considered a great.
He's decent.
Man, you tripping.
Hey, but anyways, listen. So we was talking about Giannis initially, right?
Nah, we was talking about Gobert and
Okay,
Shaq,
I got you.
because I still want to go in on that.
Go ahead before we get to what I want to say. Then
Right.
finish that up.
All right, to finish that up, first I'm gonna ask you, can I speak freely?
Speak freely.
Shaq would have murdered that nigga, boy. Now, there's no way Gobert could have handled Shaq. First off, he too little. Shaq was going to bully that man. He would score 50 on him.
Do you think he could have handled out of shape Lakers Shaq better than Magic Shaq, or neither one?
Neither one.
Neither one.
Hell, you could pick Phoenix
Wait a
Suns Shaq, Boston Celtics Shaq, Cleveland Cavaliers Shaq.
Nah, Gobert's getting that
No,
with
he
them
ain't.
Shaqs. But I think that the Lakers Shaq would have did him worse than the Magic Shaq.
Because he was so much
Because-
more heavier.
He was just so much, not just heavier.
He was more polished.
Stronger. He knew how to use his body. He knew how to, like when he was in that paint, he would put them shoulders and that arm into your chest and move you out the way and then dunk on you. See, Orlando Magic Shaq, he's slashing to the basket, getting the rebound on the defensive end, going full court with it. But
speaking of some guys that I forgot too, because you just reminded me, he played against Dwight Howard.
Who, Shaq did? Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
I feel like there's another one.
It is. I feel like there is one more player.
Kevin Garnett.
Yeah.
He might have played against the best core of defenders of any person that's ever played in the NBA, honestly.
Yeah.
Now, I know you could switch it up with them other players in the 90s and say they played the same comp. But just
Shaq dominated all of them, though.
He did.
Except for Hakeem.
I was great to say.
Except for Hakeem. That's the only one he didn't dominate.
Now, I wouldn't necessarily say.
Shaq was young then, and Shaq was still giving it back, but he was young and was still learning the game.
Yeah.
And Olajuwon was polished at the time, and I think Shaq learned a lot from having to guard Olajuwon early on.
I think he did. And before you go on, the one thing about Shaq, and Kobe said this too, is that a lot of big men are afraid to be big men. Shaq wasn't afraid. He was nasty and mean, and that's what separated Shaq from everybody else, is that Shaq didn't give a damn who was in the paint. Like Ike said, he's backing you down, he's putting that elbow in you, and it's whatever.
And that's one of the actual problems that I have with a lot of the big men in today's game, why you have those inconsistencies, why you might have like Joel Embiid drop 40 and then come back with like 12. Because the second game, he going to shoot too many jumpers. Even if he just stays in the paint, even if he has a bad game, he going to score 20 because he going to be on the free throw line. And he going to, even playing bad, if he hits 50% of his shots, or maybe let's just say 40 if he's playing bad.
Let me ask y'all, both of y'all, this. When big men do stuff like that, is it them or is it coaching and a part of the game plan to have them do that?
I think the game has changed to small ball now.
See, I was going to say the same thing. I don't think it's coaching or it's them. It's just the way basketball is played now. And some of the rules now, it's like...
It's built for guards.
It's definitely built for guards. So, and the only way for guards to really be able to eat now
is for the big men get out the way.
The big men have to pull other big men out of the way so those guards can get to that basket. You got to think, when Jordan was playing,
why we got to keep going back to Jordan?
When Jordan was playing, he was going to the basket and the paint was
clogged up.
Clogged up with people, and you had shot blockers standing right there.
You had to go through it, or you was on the line, or you get blocked.
And not even just Jordan, like Kobe, he was having to go through that. Like, you come to the paint, and those guys are right there. But then it started to change, where now they got all these
stretch fours.
They got like the defensive 3 seconds and all that.
Yeah.
Now it's like it's something that gets called, so you can't just be there.
The game, The game is full of guys like Bam from the Heats, right? He's really a small forward playing center. He got power forward skills. He don't quite got small forward skills, but he's really the size of a small forward.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, Deadlift Shrimp, they probably comparable in size, honestly. Yeah. Some of those taller small forwards.
Size and height, but
yeah, he's a little bigger.
Not comparable.
Yeah, like Bam is an undersized center.
But realistically, Bam probably ain't more than like 230.
I was gonna say he's probably 6'8", 230, maybe 240 at the most.
He's smaller than LeBron.
Yeah,
playing center.
Yeah,
and that's what the game is. Is you pick a sort of big guy and you surround him with guards.
You pick a mobile big guy, and then you, like you said, fill out, with shooters and guards around him, and then there's your offense.
It's all about guard play. And if you have a center who can step out, knock down some jumpers, it ain't even got to be 3-pointers. If they can just hit, a 15-footer.
Oh yeah.
And they're athletic enough to run the floor. That's what basketball is.
Let me ask you this question then. So y'all talked about that. So a guy like Oscar Tshiebwe, would he thrive in the NBA? Do you think he will have a successful career in the NBA? Because he's like a Bam, right? An undersized center, but he can step out, hit that 12 to 15
he just
jumper.
went to the Congo, man, and Cal told him to come back ready. So if he be working on his jumper in the Congo, maybe. But if all he can bring to the table is center skill set, he's not gonna thrive. He might come off the bench and get you 4 to 6 rebounds.
Right.
play okay defense.
If he can get to where he could hit a 15-footer very consistently,
He can be like what, Patrick Patterson?
Then I think he can be more than that.
More than that.
Because I think he's way stronger than Patrick Patterson. I think he's
better defensively than Patrick Patterson.
Patterson was an okay defender.
Yeah, he was okay.
Yeah, but Oscar's better. And I think that when it comes to rebounding, when I look at Oscar, I think his IQ of knowing the trajectory of where the ball's going to come off, I think he's very, very, very smart with rebounding.
He played goalie or some shit, right?
Yeah, like he
got those instincts like Dennis Rodman.
That's what I was going to say. When it comes to rebounding, he has Dennis Rodman instincts.
Oscar Sheetway, second round pick. But go ahead. What was you about to say?
All right. So, anyways, I want to move away from this Gobert shit, right? Because that was some clown shit. We all agree on that, right?
I don't know
but I definitely had to speak on it though.
Pride. That's all there was.
So
Gobert pride.
Before we get into some other shit though, I did want to ask you, because we was talking about Giannis. Is there any way possible that he can end his career as the greatest basketball player of all time?
It's an outside shot, but he got a shot. He got a shot.
I don't know if it's an outside shot. I mean, of course he has a lot to do.
Yeah, he got a whole lot to do, but yeah.
But if they can keep this core together,
like what would he have to accomplish for you to really start to give it some real consideration?
He's got to start at 4. And the only reason why I say 4 is because that's the conversation with LeBron. Right. So you've at least got to get to 4, and then you can start having that conversation.
So what I was going to say was 4 as well. If he gets 4 championships, definitely if he gets 4 finals MVPs, and he's putting up the numbers that he's putting up, not just scoring, but the rebounding,
defense,
and the defense, then I think he could go down as the greatest. Wait a second, I'm sorry to cut you off, but if Giannis ever gets really consistent with his jump shot, the 3-point shot, he could easily be the greatest player.
I don't even think he got to be consistent. I just think he got to be respectable. Like a LeBron. Like he doesn't have a jumper, but it's a respectable jumper. If he can just get that,
Giannis is going to become a great 3-point shooter. You know why?
Why is that?
Because he practices it in the playoffs.
Well, yeah, that's true too.
He practices period.
During the game in the playoffs. He practices his 3-point jump shot.
This guy,
he does. He shoots all kinds of threes in the playoffs, man.
He's fearless, bro,
and still ends up with 40. But he misses probably like 7 threes.
But that goes back to being fearless. And I hate to keep doing this, but that goes back to the Jordan mentality. Is I'm going to do whatever I got to do out here regardless, whether it's shooting threes, jumpers, going to the paint, getting to the free throw. Giannis has no fear in his game. He's not afraid to fail versus you have guys, and LeBron has been afraid to fail. There's been a litany of other guys who are just afraid of failing. Giannis, he don't care.
That's one of the things that I feel like stops me from saying LeBron is better than Jordan. If he would have that same mentality that Giannis has, I think he would have surpassed Jordan.
I think it'd be a lot closer conversation than a small minority versus a big majority. If he had what Giannis got, I think it would be like 49-51.
I think if LeBron had that heart and that mentality, that killer mentality, I think it would easily right now we would say LeBron's the greatest player we've ever seen.
But see, LeBron James's game was kind of weird because when he was younger, he attacked more, but his jump shooting was way worse. Now he's older. He's a lot more polished, but he don't attack as much, probably just because he's old. And if he would have been able to merge them two together for like 5 to 6 years, he could have potentially still passed Jordan.
If he would have taken the Miami Heat LeBron, because I think that was when he was at his apex, when he was with Miami. If he would have stuck with that type of mentality for the rest of his career, I think it would have made a better argument for the GOAT conversation. But it's like when he got back to Cleveland, for some odd reason, I get it, he was with Kyrie, but it's like he pulled back a little bit and started shooting more jumpers, and then, we see the guy who we see now. But if he would have stuck with Miami LeBron, it might have been a different story.
We was just talking about Giannis and how he has that mentality is, I'm going to do whatever it takes, and I'm not afraid to fail. Tatum showed me that last night.
Well, that's true, too.
And I really think that if Tatum can be that guy all the time, because he was putting up shots.
Oh,
he was like, if win or lose, it's going to be because of me.
I know a guy who won't put up shots when they losing.
We definitely going to get in on that guy. James Harden.
Yeah.
Jamie Harden.
Jamie Harden.
He has me so mad right now. I feel like shaving my damn beard off just because he's making beards
look
bearded
bad.
fellas look bad.
Before we get into James Harden, let me ask you this. Sometimes the thing that kind of annoys me about Jason Tatum is sometimes I think he falls in love with jump shooting. And I think it causes him to have some real lackluster games because if his jumper ain't falling, he ain't going to just go to the hole, or he's going to still just keep shooting the jumper, man.
I think he does both. I think he goes to the basket.
But he be having some bad performances, I think, because of just shooting too many jumpers.
He gives what the defense.
He takes
what the defense gives him, and sometimes
it just ain't falling.
Yeah, it just ain't falling. But this year. I've always thought he was a great player. You can just see it in him. But this year, especially in these playoffs, he's shown me that he's ready to go to that next level. He's, instead of just being a good player or a great player, he's going into that superstar player level.
He wants to be mentioned with the Lukas and Giannis's and all them.
I think he's there. I think, especially if they win tomorrow, and they go to the Eastern Conference Finals, I believe that the Celtics will beat the Heat. Only because I think they have a lot better scoring, in my opinion. They have two people who can put up 40 at any time. I think Miami relies a whole lot on
Threes.
Jimmy buckets and three-point shooting from Hero.
But they do got a lot of good, okay defenders, though.
That's what I was going to say.
They got good defenders, but
what
I
y'all
don't think
in boxing, styles make fights. So you got Boston's offense versus Miami's defense. So which side is going to give? That's and to me,
a great offense will always beat great defense.
But then you say defense wins championships.
You still have to play defense, and Boston still plays defense. Can Miami score like that? Yeah, they were scoring against the Sixers because they have people on the Sixers who don't play any defense at all.
Or they're scared to shoot and score themselves.
Yeah, but I think Tatum, in my opinion, has moved into the level of superstar. If they win tomorrow and he plays well again, I've said this before. I said this before and I'll say it again. I'm gonna move Tatum into my top 5 players right now.
I can't do that.
I tell you what, they got to do something this year or next year, or I'm gonna start calling them Antoine Walker and Paul Pierce.
No.
Yeah. What's the difference? What is Brown and Tatum doing that Paul Pierce and Antoine Walker didn't do?
Because I think they got to the Eastern Conference.
They got to the Eastern Conference Finals. Yeah, they got to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, but I'm saying,
and it was 2 dudes that scored like a motherfucker.
They ain't scoring like Tatum.
No, they ain't scoring like them. But at the same time,
now I like Jaylen Brown, but I don't think Jaylen Brown will ever be a superstar.
He's a quality guy. He's a star.
He's a star, I don't think he will ever be a superstar.
Now, can you build your team around him? No. But is he a piece that you can add that you need to win? Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Is he a number 2 or a number 3 on a big 3?
3.
He's a number 3.
3. And to me, I think he's a 3 only because of his demeanor. I think he's cool with that. I don't think he has the Jason Tatum, like, give me the ball, get out my damn way type of attitude.
I think Jaylen Brown would be a great fit in LA with LeBron and AD.
I don't see where they can make it happen, though, but I think he would fit with him.
Yeah, there's no way they can make it happen. The only way that would happen is they would have to trade AD.
Yeah, because they don't want Westbrook. We don't even want Westbrook.
I'm not going to lie to you, man. I don't think AD is movable at this point unless you move him to a team that just got expiring. Well,
I think he's still movable.
I think he's still movable because he's young and the potential is still there, right? So they're going to hope that, somehow, like the Steph Curry, when he first got in the league, his ankles was always messed up. He was always injured. But he got that together, and now we look at him. So people might look at AD like, I think AD's 27 or 28. Man, you barely scratching your prime for real. And they like, okay, well, if we can trade him and get him healthy, that's a 30-point-per-game player right there. We just got to get him healthy.
Yeah, AD actually, when he was able to play, he still played well this year. He just
can't. This unfortunate injuries. Every time you turn around,
But anyways, man. So let's get to it, man. James, or as we call him now, Jamie Harden, man.
Jamie Harden.
So let me ask you this though. Before we get to Jamie Harden, right? Let's talk about Doc Rivers, the leader of the franchise. Has any coach done less with more than Doc Rivers in the history of NBA?
He has rode what 2008 when the Boston Celtics won?
Yeah.
He has rode that title for the rest of his career.
But I feel like he was underwhelming then because that team went, they go to 2 finals?
They went to 2 finals, but even then, you didn't need to be a coach. You had Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, Rondo, Ray Allen. They coached themselves pretty much. All you got to do is run sets to put them in the best positions to score. And hell, even Rondo did that. So then Doc Rivers, what the hell are you even doing, bro?
On that team, he just had a great team. He had 3, possibly 4 Hall of Famers.
Right.
So let's think about it, right? So he had possibly 4 Hall of Famers there.
Mm-hmm.
Then he goes to LA, and he had
Blake,
the point guard.
Mm-hmm.
He had Blake Griffin,
a young DeAndre Jordan,
and a whole bunch of just other
really good people like JJ Redick, just a whole bunch of really good pieces.
Jamal Crawford. I think Bledsoe was on that team for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Then he at the tail end of it, he got PG and Kawhi.
And did what?
I think he had Paul Pierce, Caron Butler in LA.
He did at one point.
Yeah.
He did. It still came up short.
Then he goes to Philly.
I think Doc's a failure. In my opinion, I've never liked him as a coach.
I do you one even better. He was in Orlando with Tracy McGrady.
He done had all the stars. Everybody says Phil Jackson only won because he had stars, but obviously we got to revisit that because now we looking at a guy that had all the talent. Like he's the John Calipari of the NBA.
Then that you mentioned
one championship with all the talent you could ask for. Coaches would dream to have coached all of those players in their career.
Damn.
But some of those players he had, I really look at as they always fail. CP3, he always folds when it's time. And a lot of it is injuries.
Does he deserve the title of point guard?
For this generation, yeah. All time.
Because he's still great. He just folds or gets hurt.
Should we call a guy that folds the point guard?
See, but this is why I think he gets the point guard moniker is because when he was in New Orleans, he turned that franchise around, right?
Right.
And then he gets traded to the Clippers, who haven't won shit or done shit, and then he turns that franchise around, right? Then he gets traded to the Rockets. Him and James Harden.
He went to.
Yeah, he got traded from the Clippers.
Was that right after that?
Yeah, and then he goes to the Rockets, and then him and James Harden didn't do nothing, and then they traded him to OKC. They thought he was going there to die. They can make the playoffs. And then, they traded him to Phoenix. Phoenix, before he got there, they missed the playoffs in the bubble. He gets there, and then they go to the finals. So that's why he gets the point guard moniker.
But a lot of point guards have won championships, and he ain't one of them.
You can only do so much, bro. Is he
the point Egyptian god?
Yeah, we'll put it like that.
I think he's the point guard of this generation, like he said. But he's overall, he's not the point guard because you have people. Really, even this generation. When you consider a true point guard, yes, but Steph is better than Chris Paul.
Yeah,
but people like Magic Johnson, I still have John Stockton above.
You can go Magic. You can go Isaiah Thomas.
I have Isaiah Thomas, and I have Stockton above.
They've accomplished more
than Chris Paul.
Jason Kidd even accomplished a little more. He went to the finals a couple of times, got one ring.
I'll take Chris Paul over Kidd.
But an argument could be made for that, though.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
even though he won in the finals and all that, but CP3's better.
But he led another franchise to the finals, and if it wasn't for them running into probably one of the greatest teams ever, the Lakers, he probably would have had to.
Like Jason Kidd's been to the finals 3. He went back to back with the
Nets.
The Nets. They faced the Spurs and then they faced the Lakers. Obviously lost both times, and then of course 2011, the LeBron meltdown. He finally won his title. So Jason Kidd led his team to a finals 3 times.
And then, man, if you want to talk about, to use your definition of the point guard changing franchises, he got the Knicks to 50 wins, dog.
Well, yeah.
And they actually was kind of legit that year.
Yeah.
They, but that's impressive in itself.
Within itself, yeah.
But then, like this year with Doc Rivers, I mean, yeah, you got to put some blame on him, but most of the blame to me, really, I say 98% of the blame is on Harden.
All right, let's get into Jamie, man. What's wrong with Jamie?
What's not wrong with him?
Speak about it.
He's out of shape.
Number one.
He's getting older, so he's can't move like he used to. He doesn't get all the calls that he used to get because they got tired of all that flopping stuff that he does. He throws his arms up when he's going to the hole, and like he doesn't get all of those. And realistically, if you really look, most of his points, because he averaged a lot of points over the years, most of his points came from the free throw line.
He was averaging anywhere between 15 to 20 free throws a game. You know what I'm saying? From Houston up until this point, it was 15 to 20. That's a lot of damn free throws a game.
You gotta think.
I do respect that though, because he took a lot in the fourth quarter. So that means in the fourth quarter he was getting busy one way or the other.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Just saying, a lot of his scoring came from free throw shooting, but now he doesn't get those calls. So
now what do you do to score?
Now he has to rely on, if I go to the basket and I don't get this call and I can't finish, what can I do? Now, can I rely on the jump shot? I'm not fast anymore.
I can't blow by nobody as much as I used to.
I done put on some more weight. What am I supposed to do?
I think he done lost some strength too. I don't think he can hold people off like he used to. He used to could drive to the hole and get bumped and move people off.
Really,
shoot mid-range jumpers a little bit.
I think his arms are tired from throwing $1 million in the strip club.
But see, that's where people have a problem with him, is that they see that he's not as dedicated on the court as he is to the shit off the court. And it's like, bruh, like if you put that much time and attention to on the court, you might be one of the all-time greats. But goes back to what y'all was saying, is that he doesn't dedicate himself to the game like you would think a player of his caliber should. Get in the gym, get in the best he doesn't have the physique, like, you know what I'm saying, to be cut up and chiseled, but you can slim down a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And that'll help with your lateral quickness. He don't want to do that stuff.
Do you think we got spoiled from looking at LeBron James last so long, and now we looking at all these other players to be able to perform at a high level late in their career, and maybe a little unfairly?
I think it's unfair to a certain extent, because LeBron is the first guy. I mean, you're a couple years older than me, so you might have seen this before me, but LeBron is the first guy I've seen play this well, this late in his age. 37 years old, 19 years, still putting up 30 points per game. That's unheard of. So it is unfair that we're looking at the rest of the players like, well, Harden, you 32, 33, why are you breaking down? LeBron is, why ain't you doing, you know what I'm saying? So it is kind of unfair, though.
The thing with me is, I don't necessarily look at him like, well, he can't do this no more. Why can't he do it anymore? I just think, man, that there's a time where you just gotta say, man, the person just ain't that guy anymore. Well, that's all I say is he's not what he used to be, and that's okay.
Do you think he cares?
I don't think he cares.
To a certain extent,
I don't think so. I think he's one of those players. He's kind of like Melo to me when it comes to, I would rather have gotten all my money than win a championship. Championships don't mean as much. And it shows. Nope. Because when someone start to lose this and they want to win a championship, you know what they do? When they really want to win, they take a pay cut. They go to a team, they play a role instead of still wanting to be the superstar. They play a role to win that championship.
Will Harden never do that?
No, because he's more about his money, and he's more about his celebrity status. He wants to be known.
You know who I'm going to blame for that?
He's a Kardashian to me.
Pretty much. Yeah.
You know who I blame for that? Dwight Howard.
Why is that?
He's the first one I ever seen that openly just was like, man, the average NBA career is only 4 years. I'm rich. I'm a champion of life. And then DeAndre Jordan, I got an Olympic gold medal. I'm rich. Then you see players like John Wall. I don't know if John Wall cares.
Yeah, but
he's rich.
But go back to Dwight. He ended up doing exactly what I said.
Played a role.
He got humbled though. He was on like what 6 teams in 7 years or something.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But he still, even being humble though, he still did that.
He fought there for a long time.
But he realized that he's not that guy. So let me just find my role and then do my role well. And he got a chip for it.
He got it. But I don't think Harden will ever do it.
Doc Rivers coached him too, by the way.
He had to leave Doc to get that chip though. Shoot. But Harden though, to me, honestly, out of all the other shit, it's just effort. Like you don't see no effort from the guy, especially in a game like what was it 2 nights ago. You getting dog walked by the Miami Heat. Man, this is the thing that has plagued LeBron James, which is effort. You know what I'm saying? When the team is down, where's your effort at? Like go out with the clip empty. And James Harden, he's just like, well, we losing anyways. It is what it is.
Man,
effort.
Like I said, he's a Kardashian, bro. He's more worried about the internet and people seeing him. It's why he threw $1 million. Like who would go to a strip club and throw $1 million for what?
Is he getting now? He's probably gonna opt in to his $47 million this summer. He'd be an idiot not to. But after this, will he get a max contract after the season?
It'll probably be a team because a lot of teams, for some reason, they throw max to anybody and everybody. So he probably will still get one.
I think nowadays you have to throw max contracts to keep other teams from building super teams. I think that's why a lot of these players get money.
Yeah, but they give a lot of money to people who
but
don't deserve it.
It's to keep them from building super teams. Like they gave it to Jamal Murray to keep him from going and joining a super team.
I get that, but when you give a guy like Tobias Harris $35 million a year
to keep him from joining a super team,
who cares though? What is Tobias Harris like? He's an okay player, but he's not gonna affect a big three. You see what I'm saying? Like it's not gonna be LeBron, KD, and Tobias Harris. That's not gonna be a big three. It's gonna be KD, Kyrie, LeBron. Somebody else, then Tobias Harris. So, like, you throwing money at Tobias Harris in fear of him going somewhere else, like, that's just wasting money. And Elton Brand, he got to take the L for that one, too.
Hey, man, going back to Harden, when I really started looking at him really funny?
Brooklyn?
When he did that eye roll in that interview, I think it was after the game. Yeah, and he had that, like, weird look. I was like, man, something about this guy, man. I just don't fool with him. And ever since then, man, I just look at him different, man. I know my boy Daniel Smith. He's probably gonna want to fight me for talking about Harden because he.
But
loves
it's the
Harden,
truth, though, man. But it's the truth, though. Like,
but it's a time where you just look at him and you say, "Hey, man,
my guy ain't that guy no more."
I mean, he was great. He's gonna go down as probably top 5 shooting guard all time. But he's not that guy anymore.
His run in Houston, like, nobody can ever take that from that. That was one of the greatest individual runs from a player we have ever seen on the offensive end. Nobody could ever take that from him. But again, Daniel, he got to realize like he's not that. He's not that, and just be happy with the player that he is now, and admit, he came up short. Yeah, he didn't do X, Y, and Z. Instead of making excuses for he ain't get enough shots. Triple team though game.
Yes, sir.
No.
Hey, look, I gotta get Ike out of here soon, but I'm gonna hold you for a little bit longer. All right. I want to talk about another guy that you don't like. You call him the weirdo all the time, right? And that's Kyrie Irving, right?
The weirdo.
And what I want to ask you is, how do you feel about the whole situation with Nike deciding that they probably aren't going to move forward with him with his shoe contract?
Good. Why would you give a shoe contract to somebody that thinks the earth's flat?
Not even that. Why would you give a shoe contract to a guy you don't know if he's going to be on the court showing the shoes off?
Who knows what he's going to do?
And I don't know if y'all remember this, but I think it might have been the last pair that came out or whatever it was. He called one of the pairs trash.
I remember that. Yeah, it was on Instagram. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, he called one of his shoes trash.
I mean,
now let me ask you this question.
He was being real, but when it comes to your money, man.
But
why?
he was saying they was trash because he didn't have no input into the shoe, and they just released the shoe without his input.
That still don't matter. You getting paid.
Well, that's true too.
Just
Now
take
let
your
me
money
ask you
and
this
shut
too.
up.
That's true.
Goes again. He's a weirdo.
That's true.
I think maybe it might have been easy for Nike to do this too because, you know, Kobe's used to be the best-selling basketball shoe for Nike, and then they stopped making the Kobe's, and Kyrie Irving's became the best-selling. Now they making the Kobe's again,
So it's like, well, we don't.
and they even doing the Mamacitas now.
Well, not even that. They got that. They got the Kevin Durant's. They got the Greek Freak shoes. So it's not like losing Kyrie Irving is gonna hurt them any. So
Now that they got the Mamas coming back out, they gonna go off the shelves like crazy.
yeah.
Kyrie Irving is the basketball version of Antonio Brown.
You call him crazy?
Yeah, so football has Antonio Brown, music has Kanye West,
Basketball got
basketball has Kyrie Irving.
Kyrie. That's a damn shame. That's one hell of a list right there.
And
too.
I bet all three of them. I bet Kyrie's gonna start hanging out with them now that Kanye and AB they hang real tight now.
You heard his
Kyrie's
album?
probably gonna be there with him.
You heard AB's
Yeah,
music?
I heard. Man, that's so good. Now, in the words of Kyrie when he talked about those shoes, trash. But it was. I will give AB this. It was funny. I was rolling listening to them songs.
Man, this guy. Yeah, that ain't it. That ain't it, AB. Somebody need to, well, he ain't gonna listen. I was gonna say somebody need to tell him that ain't it, but it ain't like he ain't gonna listen anyway.
He was getting features too. And then Keisha Cole was saying, was talking about how he's gonna be great in music.
She just need money.
I was like, she's tripping.
Yeah, she needs some money.
Did they? I think they used to date or something.
Who knows?
So that's probably she probably speaking emotionally.
That's one volatile couple right there, boy.
Yeah, man.
Well, she was high or something.
Both of them.
Well, hey, listen. Let's talk about this though. Breaking the code, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about all of these situations so far in the playoffs where these guys have been breaking the code they've been saying?
I think it's BS, man, because like in basketball, there's two things you don't do. When a man is in the air, you don't bump him. You know what I'm saying? And you don't go after nobody's ankles or knees. That's the code.
That's now.
Well, that's now.
They used
Definitely
to be
not in the
something-
80s.
They used to be something that you was always gonna see. Quit coming to the hole like that if you don't want to get fouled.
In the 80s, you was
But
definitely getting taken out of there.
Now they do. But this whole against the code thing, there's certain things that I would say that I think, like you said, if I'm in the air and you run up under my legs.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
You know,
Yeah,
you do
yeah,
some
stuff like
things.
that.
I mean, in my opinion, that is against the code. But what we seeing is certain people saying that was against the code. Like you've said previously to me about Steve Kerr saying that what Brooks did was against the code.
Mm-hmm.
But Draymond does stuff every single game that you look at and you say, man, if you think that was against the code, then what do you think about this guy?
Yeah.
And he kicked LeBron in the nuts.
Kicked
or whatever.
LeBron in the nuts.
done a bunch of stuff.
He's done a whole bunch of stuff that's like, bro, that's not even a basketball play, bro. What are you doing?
Like at least Brooks was going for the ball. Now he did wind up, but he was going to block the ball and his arm.
Do you think he should have just let that basket go though?
You in the playoffs.
You in the play. See, that's the thing. Go back
Now,
to
if
what
that
y'all
was
said
regular-
about the
if that was
80s.
regular season,
You let it go.
you let that go. You in the playoffs.
But see now,
And you playing
if
the
somebody's
Warriors.
in front of you, you kind of got to give that up to them.
Why?
Why? But see,
Why?
that goes back to what
the
y'all
they
was
reason-
saying,
gonna-
though.
they gonna give you a flagrant.
The reason why,
And I hate that too.
The reason why is because what if he would have just got all ball?
Then it would have been a great play.
But that's what I'm saying. So, but if you don't even try, then if you say like, if LeBron doesn't try to get the block on Iguodala,
Yeah.
if he doesn't try, if he just gives it up because he don't want to get a flagrant, they don't win. If Tayshaun Prince doesn't give up on the play and block Reggie Miller, they don't win.
I think, though, back to what y'all was saying about the 80s, when you come through the lane, back then you expected to get snatched out of the air, right? Now, because the game has changed, they don't expect that. So now it's against the code versus back then. If you come to the lane, you know what you was in for. You know you was coming out that game black and blue.
I just don't think that the Dylan Brooks play was against the code. I think he was going for the ball and his arm caught him across the head, which Gary Payton Jr. was in the air, so he landed funny. And
do you think they gave him the suspension to make the Warriors feel better about the injury?
No. He got the suspension because he made contact with the head.
Yeah.
That's called every single time.
Yeah. And I don't think, to be honest, if who was it? Was it Peyton? Yeah, Peyton. If he didn't break his elbow or whatever he did to his elbow, I don't think Steve Kerr would have said anything. I think it would have just been a hard foul, and then they would have just went on about their business. But I think because he lost a player,
he got a little scared he might lose the series.
Yeah, he got in his feelings a little bit. So now it's against the code. But you got Draymond Green choke slamming people out here, and you just quiet about that. You just let him do what he want to do. So that code is just dependent on. Patrick Beverly is another player, right? He plays like Draymond Green, but he in the playoffs when Russell Westbrook was calling that timeout and he went after his knee and then he ended up into Westbrook's knee. Yeah. That's against the code. Like, you don't do that type of stuff, bro. Like
Grayson Allen, he's another one that
habitual line stepper
that's been known for doing that stuff. He sticks his foot out and trips people. And
you know what though? I feel like since his game got a little bit better, he ain't as wild no more as he used to be.
Yeah, because now he's actually
good enough to play.
To play.
Because remember during the regular season, Alex Caruso was in a fast break layup, and Grayson Allen hit him, and Caruso broke his wrist, and he was out for a couple of games.
Yeah, I remember.
Grayson Allen being dirty, that's against the code. But did Billy Donovan say anything about that? Hell no.
No. Did Steve Kerr say anything?
Hell no.
Even though it's not his team.
Nope.
Like, you can't just say stuff when it comes to your guy, when you have people on your team that do that.
Yeah. Like, it's for the integrity of the game. So if you're going to call one spade a spade, you got to call the other one a spade. Like, Draymond, you got to chill on it. But he thinks it helps him win games for some odd reason.
Well, look, before I get out of here, where we talking about the Warriors, I do want to say, let me look into the camera, because Klay Thompson, man, I dogged you the other day.
You apologize.
I was talking about how you are just not the same anymore. You're not that guy that the Warriors should look to trade you to get some younger pieces. But last night, Game 6, Klay came back. And the guy put up numbers. Listen to these stats, man. I want y'all to hear
what he got. What he do last night?
I can't believe you did your light-skinned brother like that to begin with, man.
Hey, man, listen.
I'm
sorry. All right, so last night, Klay had 30 points and 8 rebounds. He went 11 for 22, but 8 for 14 from 3.
Game 6, Klay.
Man.
Strikes again.
Listen, just between Klay, Steph, and Wiggins, they hit 17 threes between them 3 last night.
You know what's funny about the Warriors?
Hard to beat that.
They actually ended up using the process that Philadelphia was supposed to be using to win. Because you remember Philadelphia was tanking to get all of these players, and they were supposed to be winning championships now because they tanked, 3-4 years in a row to get all of these number 1 picks?
It was longer than that.
Yeah, the Warriors didn't tank, though.
They was just trash.
Nah, it was just injuries. It was injuries, so...
But the process worked for them.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, right now, you look at them, Klay was out for a long time. Steph was out for a long time. You end up getting players like Jordan Poole. You get...
Justin Wiseman.
Yeah, you get Wiseman.
Wiggins.
Well, you get Wiggins in a trade, was it a trade?
Yeah, because they traded Brooklyn. They got D'Angelo Russell, and then they traded Russell to.
So, they've got lucky from the injuries for real to be able to get some of these younger guys, some really good younger guys.
That's how they got KD.
I still don't know if they're gonna win it this year. I don't know if they're gonna come out of the West.
They're looking shaky right now.
I really think that whoever wins this Game 7 tomorrow between the Mavs and Phoenix could come out of the West.
I don't know, because Chris Paul doesn't do too well against Steph Curry.
Nah, but if the Mavs win.
The
thing is what we talking about how Chris Paul doesn't do well against Steph, but is which Clay is going to be there.
But that's
is
true.
it going to be last night's Clay or Clay that we've seen the rest of the playoffs? Because Devin Booker's going to give work.
I think they cancel each other out.
No.
Yeah, I think they cancel each other
No
out.
way.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
I think they're going to have
way.
multiple defenders to send their Booker, which may help them slow him down a little bit. Because they could use Clay sometimes and switch Wiggins on him.
They
Then
put
Poole.
Poole, yeah.
So he might have his hands full a little bit. Now, he's capable of torching any one of them three.
Yeah,
But,
I got to get out of here.
well, all right, man. Well, listen.
I'm sorry, fellas.
I appreciate it. Look.
Obviously, don't like.
Hey, listen, man, Sports and Discourse, we had a good time, and I'm sure we'll be back at it. I had to let my dude go. Thank you guys for coming.
Yes, sir.
And we'll get back at it, man.